So Saquon Barkley is on the verge of breaking the NFL rushing record for a single season. That record is currently held by Eric Dickerson, and he got that record for 2,105 yards in 1984. Now, Barkley is 268 yards away from breaking that mark, and he has 2 games remaining. And it's kind of a controversial thing because, of course, the NFL added a Week 18 year a few seasons back. So, really, Saquon gets another year, another game to break the record. But it is what it is, man. And Eric feels the same way about it. He had this to say, quote, he had 17 games to do it. Hey, football is football. That's the way I look at it. If he's fortunate to get over 2,000 yards and get the record, it's a good record to have. So, pretty chill guy. I like it. No crazy gatekeeping there. So, shout out to Eric Dickerson. And with Kenny Pickett getting the start this weekend, I totally expect Saquon Barkley to easily get the rushing record in the final 2 games. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if he came extremely close this week against the Cowboys. It is a home game, and I don't think they're going to really ask Kenny Pickett to do too much this week. I really think they're just going to lean on Saquon Barkley, short passes, and just try to get him that record. And funny enough, Week 17, the Eagles play the New York Giants, and that is just the ultimate cherry on top of one of the worst New York Giant seasons in history. It's been a really rough year for the G-Men, and for Saquon Barkley to break the NFL rushing in-season record against them in the final game is just, it's poetic. It's kind of beautiful to a certain extent. And if he does do that, which I would say there's a 90% chance he does, the only way I don't see him doing it is if he gets hurt. If he does do that, bro, if you're the owner, Mara, of the Giants, fire Brian Dable, fire the GM, Joe, just clean house. Just clean house. You screwed up. You let this guy walk. You could have paid him. He wanted to be a Giant. But no, he went to a division rival to break the NFL rushing record for a season against you. Embarrassing on embarrassing on embarrassing. Like, that is just next level, just clown show. But yeah, man, you let me know if you think Saquon Barkley is going to break the record, or do you think he'll come up short? Let me know what you think in the comments below. And aren't you a fan of Saquon Barkley? I feel like some people are kind of a hater to him for some reason, but I feel like he doesn't get as much love as Derrick Henry for some reason, but that's kind of just what I see online and on X and whatnot. So Eric also had this quote to say, O.J. Simpson was my favorite player. He went over 2,000 yards in 14 games. It took me 15 games to get to 2K. I had one extra game to play. Getting to 2,000 is an accomplishment in itself. And for sure, man, for sure it's an accomplishment. Definitely an elite group if you could make 2,000 yards in a season. And yeah, O.J. Simpson, 14 games to only get 2,000 yards, that's nuts. That's crazy. That is absolutely crazy. And that's the thing going forward. Speaking of having an extra game here and there, sure, Saquon Barkley might have the record in the next 2 weeks, but I'm sure in the future it will get broken again because the NFL has had many talks of yet again expanding the regular season to a potential Week 19, which is really crazy, really crazy. But then again, like, the NFL is king and money talks, and the amount of money the NFL brings in, piles in every regular season week is just astronomical. So from a business perspective, it does make sense, but from a player association protecting the players perspective, dangerous and not really great. especially with, Thursday night football, Saturday games, of course, the Chiefs, Texans, Ravens were all in the headlines this past week of playing three games in 11 days. So, yeah, we'll see what happens there, man. You let me know if you think the NFL will end up expanding it to week 19. I feel like it's inevitable. I just feel like it will happen at some point. When it will happen, I'm not sure, but I would say in the next 3 years it will happen. But that's just my prediction. I want to quickly go over every RB that's rushed for 2,000 yards because, 2,000 yards in a single season is just really impressive stuff. And I feel like if you get to 2,000 yards, you're really solidifying yourself as one of the greats. I'm not saying it's an automatic Hall of Fame entry, but you're really putting yourself up there with really impressive company. So the first person to ever do it, O.J. Simpson, 1973, 2,003 yards. Next, Eric Dickerson, 2,105 yards, 1984 with the LA Rams. Barry Sanders, 1997, 2,053 yards. Terrell Davis, 1998, 2,008 yards. Jamal Lewis, 2003, 2,066 yards with the Baltimore Ravens. CJ2K, he was my childhood RB right there. 2,006 yards with the Tennessee Titans in 2009. Dude was electric. Dude was a home run hitter. If you don't remember him, or if you need a quick refresh on his speed, definitely go on YouTube and just look up Chris Johnson. And of course, Gus Johnson on many of his touchdown calls. What a time that was. What a time that was. Next, 2012 AP Minnesota Vikings, 2,097 yards. And finally, Derrick Henry, 2,027 yards in 2020. Now, I feel like all those players are essentially Hall of Famers. I know CJ2K isn't in there, and I'd have to look at his resume. Maybe one day he can get in there, but I'm not sure. I feel like Derrick Henry is definitely already a Hall of Fame player, in my opinion. AP is there as well. Jamal Lewis, I'd have to look at his resume, but everyone else is a Hall of Fame player. And you know what, man? If Saqon Barkley gets this, that definitely looks really good going forward if he's interested in making the Hall of Fame one day. Even prior to this, obviously he's had a ton of injuries, but put up pretty good numbers, man. Put up pretty good numbers, and if hypothetically he could hit the 2,000 yard mark and maybe get a Super Bowl ring, maybe just maybe with the Philadelphia Eagles, I feel like they could win it this year. Man, if the Eagles just had a more likable coach and it just wasn't Sirianni, I feel like I'd be a big time Eagles supporter, but I just can't get behind Sirianni, man. I feel like that guy's a clown. Even had a interaction with Zach Ertz this past weekend. It's like, bro, like, who does that? What coach gets into an altercation with a player at the end of the game? Like, it just shows his level of class is at rock bottom, and I really don't like that guy. But yeah, sidetrack there from that clown. But anyways, you let me know what you think about Saqon Barkley. Do you think he'll break the record? And do you think Saqon Barkley is a Hall of Famer? Two interesting questions. I'm curious about your opinion on that. If you made this far, please subscribe and like the vid. It'd help out your boy a ton. That's all I got for right now. Peace.
The offense did a good job that time picking up the first down. That's what you want to do. You got a small lead in the second half. Keep getting those first downs and eat that clock up.
First down at the 46. And Thornton in on the tackle.
Good job that time by the defense. They're down. It's in the fourth quarter. They are expecting the offense to run the football, and they stop it for a couple yards.
Leading and with possession of the football, a good place to be at this point in the game. And Ivory's met after a gain of 3.
The game is close. It's in the fourth quarter. You're winning. You're on the offensive side. You find out if you can really run the football in these situations. That time, short gain on the run.
Play number 6 coming up on this drive. The Jets had to put last week's heart-wrenching loss behind them, and they've done that so far, although they've got another game that might be coming down to the wire.
Yes, they do, Jim, right now. But what did you learn from last week's defeat? Can that be the difference to get you through and win this game today?
The Jets have it at the 34. On first down, it's back to